Stalingrad, a name seared into the annals of human suffering and endurance. It began with fire from the sky on August 23, 1942. The Luftwaffe's bombs turned the city into a smoldering inferno. Homes disappeared, streets vanished, families disintegrated. But this wasn't just a battle. It was a turning point in World War II, a brutal contest of will and attrition that claimed over 2 million lives. It ended not just a military campaign, but the illusion of German invincibility. In June 1941, Adolf Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest military invasion in history. Over 3 million Axis troops surged into the Soviet Union, convinced it would fall within months. At first, it seemed they were right. Soviet defenses crumbled. German panzers raced through Ukraine and Belarus, but the Red Army did not break. They traded land for time. By winter 1941, German forces had stalled in Moscow. Soviet counterattacks and bitter cold drove them back, but Hitler didn't give up. Instead of pushing again toward Moscow, he turned south toward the oil-rich Caucasus. To protect this advance, one city had to fall, Stalingrad. Why Stalingrad? Strategically, it made sense. The city was a central transport hub sitting on the Volga River. Controlling it would sever supply lines and protect the flank of the southern campaign. Symbolically, it bore Stalin's name. Its capture would crush Soviet morale. For Stalin, it was unthinkable. He issued the infamous order, "Ni shagu nazad," not one step back. The German assault, August 1942. The Luftwaffe initiated the siege on August 23, 1942, reducing the city to ruins. The German Sixth Army under General Friedrich Paulus pushed forward, but instead of victory, they entered a nightmare. Stalingrad wasn't a city, and it was a trap. It became a fortress of bricks, iron, and blood. Entire buildings became battlegrounds. Streets changed hands dozens of times a day. Soviet snipers like Vasily Zaitsev turned rubble into killing fields. It was a brutal form of urban warfare. The Germans called it Rattenkrieg, rat war, Soviet resilience. Stalin ordered that anyone retreating be executed. Penal battalions, prisoners, political dissidents, and unlucky draftees were sent to the front lines. Factories like the Red October plant kept producing weapons under fire. Reinforcements crossed the Volga constantly. Many died before even reaching the shore. Children delivered ammunition. Civilians dug trenches. Surgeons performed amputations by candlelight in basements. The Red Army did not fight for Stalin. They fought because they had no choice. Behind them was nothing. Ahead was survival. Turning point, Operation Uranus. By November 1942, the Germans controlled nearly 90% of Stalingrad. They believed victory was near. But their flanks were held by weak Axis allies, Romanians, Hungarians, and Italians, ill-equipped and poorly trained. The Soviets saw their chance. Marshal Georgy Zhukov orchestrated Operation Uranus, a massive counteroffensive. On November 19, 1942, in minus 30 degrees C temperatures, 2 Soviet pincers struck from the north and south, enveloping Stalingrad. In just 4 days, over 250,000 German and Axis troops were trapped. Paulus begged to break out. Hitler refused. He promised resupply by air. The airlift failure. The Luftwaffe tried, but reality crushed hope. They could deliver only a fraction of what was needed. Soviet fighters ruled the skies. Starvation set in. Horses were eaten. Sawdust was added to bread. Weapons froze. Medical supplies ran out. Morale collapsed. Still, the Sixth Army held on out of loyalty, fear, or futility. Final collapse. In January 1943, the Red Army began squeezing the pocket. German resistance crumbled. On January 31, 1943, Paulus, now a field marshal, surrendered the southern sector. By February 2, it was all over. Out of 250,000 soldiers trapped, fewer than 90,000 surrendered. Only about 5,000 ever returned to Germany. Aftermath and consequences. Stalingrad shattered the Wehrmacht's aura of invincibility. Hitler banned public mourning. Propaganda labeled the dead as heroes, but the truth was clear. Germany had suffered its first undeniable catastrophic defeat. For the Soviets, it was a turning point. From this moment forward, they pushed west, city by city, Kharkov, Kursk, and eventually Berlin. For the Allies, Stalingrad was a sign that Nazi Germany could be broken. It boosted morale and hastened support for the Eastern Front. Human cost. Over 2 million people perished, soldiers, civilians, and children. Entire families were obliterated. Survivors remembered the snow, the silence, and the smell of death. The city itself, once vibrant, became a graveyard, yet out of those ashes rose defiance. Legacy of Stalingrad. Today, the city is called Volgograd, but its legacy endures. Monuments like the Motherland Calls dominate the skyline, reminding the world of the price of victory. For Russia, Stalingrad is a sacred symbol of resistance and sacrifice. It's a sobering lesson for humanity. Armies do not just fight wars, everyone endures them. It is more than a clash of empires, it is a clash of wills. The Battle of Stalingrad was more than a battle. It was a crucible. A generation gave everything on frozen streets, in shattered buildings, in the fire and blood of urban warfare. They are remembered not just for how they died, but also for how fiercely they lived, how bravely they fought, and how profoundly they changed the world. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more compelling history.